we're trying to achieve is, as much as there might be a long-term solution to the area in Kempton Park in resolving the area of the aging infrastructure, but we then have to look into things on how do we have a turnaround time where we are able to maintain and able to still have regular and uninterrupted services in terms of supply, in terms of electricity. So we do have our energy master plan in place, which is, it's an in-depth and it details a roadmap on how we will, the city will renew and maintain energy in terms of the infrastructure. This will also include the replacement of the oil-filled cables that I mentioned earlier with the new cables or the new technology. And the city will definitely ensure that the plan is executed and delivered as per timeline. And this is very important because residents sometimes, their frustration is not necessarily on the fact that the power is off, but the power is off again and then again. Okay, what's the long-term solution? So this is what we are speaking to, is that the fact that we will have a much quicker turnaround time in terms of making sure that there is a constant supply of energy, but then we will also be working within the timelines which are long-term, which we will speak to and also share with our residents as the time comes in terms of the timelines that will be stated on the master plan to resolve to have much more permanent solution to some of these issues. And then I think another part that comes into that as a solution is how we have actually also introduced our independent power suppliers, which will also assist us tremendously when it comes to additional renewable energy, so that obviously we can assist our local grid. So we have actually gotten into an agreement with 47 IPPs who will be able to will be working closely with the city to be able to to reduce some of these power outages and struggle in terms of the city's supply. So that we will speak on as well, and that's also part of our master plan as well. And then obviously there's other issues that might not be visible, but they are cause of many problems that we have currently, which are some of the technologies that we'll introduce in terms of a handheld device. Now, that handheld device, people might take for granted, but when I speak of turnaround time, now, you need to have a situation where when a technician is on the ground and there's a report of an outage, that information is able to get to the technician in real time. And the turnaround time is much easier in terms of our SLAs, because it's not easy to tell a resident, well, the turnaround time is 24 hours or 48 hours, so you must just relax, without power, But once we have these technologies in place, then the turnaround time is shortened. Then we are able to assist our residents. So that's going to also be part of our solutions in terms of how we can curb the issues of power interruptions, and especially the complaints that we have from residents when they do not have power. So we'll definitely decrease the response time for the technicians when they start and then complete the electrical faults. And then we also have, which was my earlier comment in terms of the theft and the vandalism, but into a feasibility process where we're looking at infrastructure protection unit. Will be working closely with ENPD because it is a challenging issue when you have not just certain individuals, but part of our residents who are part of the incidents in terms of theft and vandalism and also sabotage. So we just need to be able to, to educate our communities and help each other. But in doing so, we also need to have law enforcement who are able to prevent these things from affecting our very honest and innocent residents who abide by the law. And then we need to have such units in place to assist us. But then I think what was also a concern, a huge concern, is the fact that, you know, we are also looking into a case of, you know, how there might be a bit of sabotage in terms of the infrastructure, deliberate sabotage in terms of the infrastructure that we have, but we will not dwell into that. We'll definitely get into the detail as we start with the program to investigate if there is actual sabotage, especially towards the new administration. We will get into that. But I think finally, in terms of what my acting HOD and EM always says to me, says, LMC, you know, there's a lot of things that we can do in terms of budgets and so on and so on, and then we pump money and then we can do this and that. We don't have that. But there are many, many solutions that are right in front of us. And those solutions start with things like communication. Communication is exactly what's happening today. We need to be able to inform our residents in terms of the issues and response and release in terms of information regarding service delivery. I think that is crucial, and thank you EM for putting that on top of our list in terms of saying communicate, because if you don't communicate, residents don't know, people don't understand, then residents get frustrated. So as soon as you are able to do what is called low-hanging fruit, that doesn't require a budget. It requires what the EM said in the last part of a communication, that comms department with all the service delivery departments, we need to work in order to ensure that residents get first-hand information in terms of what happens and when it's happening and how long and so on, and where the challenges are.
So highlight on the turnaround times. And that's not when I'm talking about huge outages where there has been huge cable faults, or there has been vandalism to the infrastructure. The normal power outages that happen day to day, where there is a small solution or an easy solution, is something that I've made it very clear as the new executive mayor within our departments, and that's not just electricity, burst water pipes, things like that, have to be increased to what they should be doing. So if a turnaround time says 48 hours, our departments have to comply with that. Another issue that we have found that we have stressed, and it was mentioned by the MMC, is stocks within our stores. We have found a simple fuse, which is something that the store should have, was not available. Our HOD has given his commitment that they will rectify that situation, that small issues do not become days without power. Previously we sat with a situation where a house was without power for 9 days due to a fuse not being in a store. Now that is unacceptable in my view. It is unacceptable in anybody's view. And that is something that we are working quite stringently on to rectify within our departments. Our budgets, we are busy with the adjustment budgets right now, and our main budget also, when we had our strategic session, something that was also a huge emphasis placed on was that maintenance budgets have to be prioritized. Any vanity projects within the city will not be prioritized. We have to get service delivery up within the city. We have to make sure that our residents receive the services that they are paying for. And yes, we do understand it's not going to be an overnight situation, but it is definitely a priority within our administration to do so. Another prioritization is energy saving solutions within the government buildings, meaning the buildings that belong to the City of Ekurhuleni, power saving lights There will be an audit in all the buildings to make sure that we use any energy saving solutions that we can to also take away the strain on the energy grid from ourselves. So leading by example, basically.